I'm Nathan Gita.
And I'm Aaron Eckman.
From BC's northern capital.
Welcome to the Ram and Stag Show.
Hello, this is Ram and Stag, and it's an episode where we're both in the house. We're trying our best to get these topics down, but we're going to go through them one by one. I'm Nathan Gita, of course. This is my co-host, Aaron Eckman, and we're going to begin with Aaron's favorite question, the monarchy and the coat of arms that recently came about. There's a big change there because of the coronation of King Charles III. Aaron?
Well, the real question is, do we need a monarchy? That's the question.
Everybody else is debating, why did we have to change the coat of arms? And you're gonna outflank that argument with, do we need the monarchy? Come on.
Well, if it's that easy to change the coat of arms, if we can just change the image of the country so willy-nilly, we can take what did we take out? All the crosses and the fleur-de-lis and all the stuff that matters. We just took it out and replaced it with, I understand, right at the top, a snowflake, which is perfect for Canada in this moment, I think. But the question, I think, that really strikes all of us is, what's the point? Is this what we're so proud of? What are we angry about in the first place?
Canadians have often, picked things to be outraged about that don't make sense to the rest of the world. Like losing the Stanley Cup and destroying Vancouver. Or, I don't know, perhaps that'll happen in Edmonton if the Oilers don't make it. But the point is that when it comes to the question of the monarchy, it's this death of a thousand cuts problem. It's like, do you do this progressive thing where you just keep making these little nibbles at a symbol until the symbol's meaningless, which I'd argue, especially considering what people say on the left about neoliberalism, it's the same art, it's the same technique. It's just being used on symbolism instead of economics. But and then there's the other arm of no, let's have an honest conversation about whether or not we need the monarchy anymore. Especially, we could have off-ramped from Queen Elizabeth II, God rest her, very easily, because everyone was like, oh, everybody liked her. So now that they've got Charles III, who's been saying crazy things his whole life, they could have just been like, oh, he's crazy, let's get out of here. But we haven't had an honest conversation. That I think is a fair objection that we can both share. There is no honest conversation.
What's clear is that this Liberal government would like to step away from a monarchical system.
Maybe.
It's pretty clear. You can't look at the changes they've made to the coat of arms and conclude that they have respect for that institution, right? You can't take those religious and important symbols and replace them with a great big snowflake and claim to respect the institution, right? So clearly somebody in the Liberal government, whether it's Trudeau, I don't know, somebody isn't happy with the monarchy as it stands. I'm fascinated by that. I always thought I was, way out. Even within sort of the social democratic milieu, there's still a lot of people that are like, no, we need the monarchy because we can't ultimately trust ourselves much.
I got to watch today in the Ledge that, Farnworth stepped up and said all these nice things about the monarchy, and everybody was like, yep, and there's no social democrat in there going no, you know what, that's it, abolish it. No one's saying anything.
I never saw Jack Layton more happy than when he got to get up in front of thousands of people and describe himself as Her Majesty's loyal opposition. He was tickled pink. The Social Democrats, they've never ever sort of demarked from this. They're very much part of the whole British parliamentary structure.
I wonder what Orwell would say about that, because obviously in 1984, Ingsoc totally obviously offs what's going on with the current British system. But obviously, as things have turned out, Labour has not departed, as you just put it, from the monarchy whatsoever.
So why all of a sudden are the Liberals eking us away? I know the Trudeau Senior sort of played a little bit in this regard as well. But this latest, if I was a conservative, I remember looking at the changes going, oh, they're going to be angry. I don't care, but they're going to be angry. I haven't really heard have I just missed it? Have I been out to lunch?
I don't know. Maybe they're rabbling somewhere. I guess I have to be absolutely candid. I have become more ambivalent about the monarchy over the last decade or so. And it isn't that I don't trust the monarchy. It's just that I would like to see a way for Canadian values to be embodied, perhaps even constitutionally and in law and in culture, in a way that I don't just have to have the monarchy to have them survive. But the defense I always make of the monarchy is that it's actually the only repository left in some respects of certain rights. I used to be a good and, son of the Enlightenment and think, whether it was Aboriginal rights and title or whether it was the monarchy, like slowly but surely we would get to that, that further shore where all the rights of man are kind of the same and that sort of thing. But in Canada, because there's just been such a perfect segue from its colonial background to its modern day existence, where honestly, the oligarchs have been in charge the whole time, right? The family compact, they're still there. They just happen to have different names now. But so that consensus rules. And it even rules like cities in the West, right? Like there's a liberal consensus throughout the Canadian ruling elite and the echelon that kind of calls the shots. And that consensus is absolutely okay with the fact that we are subjects that don't have the kind of rights that our American cousins do, and they happily trample them. And the crown and rules around the crown land, and for that matter, especially questions of indigenous rights from the Royal Proclamation, let alone hunters, trappers, fishers, etc. Those are one of the only ways that they get those rights, is that the crown still exists. Because make no mistake, when they extinguish it, as they are trying to do by putting snowflakes on things or whatever, those rights will also begin to abate. It's the same thing. And so that's where, in a sense, I've almost become a more avid situational monarchist in recent years, because I know that as it stands right now, until there's an honest conversation about what should be the rights of Canadians, and of all race, class, creeds, we are in a situation where a certain demographic, and honestly a very poor demographic, a marginalized demographic in many respects, only has its rights because the monarchy continues to exist, and it has importance in the Supreme Court, etc.
Well, let me ask you this question. Charles?
Hey, we prefer to call him Chuck. All right, it's the Chuckmeister.
Really? This is the best we can do? This is
if
our
he
king?
If he starts eating some brie, he's Chuck E. Cheese. No, even our producer can't take it anymore. No, look, if there could be a council of regency and we could pick just about anybody else, I'd be on side with you there. But that's exactly it. It's the luck of the draw. That's how the monarchy works. It's the luck of the draw. And let's be clear, elected governments have not fared so well either. Republics have not fared so well either in recent years. With their picked monarchs, by picking the sovereign, it hasn't necessarily gone well. France is waning. Germany is faltering. You have issues in the States. You have issues throughout the Western world where they have effectively eliminated monarchies everywhere, except for, of course, the few states left in Northern Europe, and of course the monarchy in England and the UK and the Commonwealth. And so we stand here having to ask ourselves the question, as we turn this corner in the 21st century, what are we going to do? What are we going to do when it comes to ruling ourselves? And who should have authority? And from where does authority spring? Okay. Well, we're going to pivot from Charles III